Simo, we are in Shungshui
Why did you take me here?
because this is where all the milk powder comes from.
Wow, fascinating. What do you mean?
Well, what I mean by all the milk powder is, you know, this milk powder scandal happened a couple of years ago in mainland China. And ever since then, people refuse to buy milk powder from the local dairies. People that can afford it.
Chinese people.
Yeah, Chinese people. So what they do is they rely on sort of overseas milk powder.
Right.
And by that I mean they will, doesn't matter what country, but they would rather get imported milk powder. And Hong Kong is the easiest place to get imported milk powder from. Even if it's made in Hong Kong, it's still better than...
Or imported anything.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, so what happens is, this is literally the first stop on the train when you leave mainland China into Hong Kong.
I feel like we're in China. Look at the nut sellers and it smells like cigarettes everywhere. There's garbage all over the floor. It's not Hong Kong.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Hong Kong. It does feel like it's the mainland. But the thing is, you still have all the international shops here, right? So you can come here and you can get your imported milk powder here. And not only that, you can get all manner of imported makeup and toiletries or whatever it is that people desire over there in the mainland. And so you get these kind of smuggling rings that work out of Shungshui.
So I was going to ask you, it's basically because Shungshui, the first stop in the metro, is so close. The proximity to China is so close that it's the most convenient place to do this. So these malls and shops have set up to cater to those people.
Oh, absolutely. And you will come, depending on the time of day and the day of the week, obviously, but pretty much every day you've got people that are going back and forth, say 5, 6, 7 times, depending. Because they've had to put major restrictions to prevent people from doing this, right?
Right.
But if you are a Hong Kong citizen, for instance, you can kind of go back and forth over the border as much as you want.
Right.
So the gangs will pay the sort of low-class Hong Kong citizens to do it, or they'll get people that have like a Shenzhen hukou, you know, that can go over a bunch of times a day
Sure.
to do it. And what'll happen is they will literally just pop over here, come get a bag full of milk powder and all this kind of crap, go over the border, hand it to some guy, come back over and do it, you know, rinse and repeat.
Sure.
There are all sorts of restrictions in place now though, and they're trying to clamp down. But the whole point of this is that it doesn't just happen in Hong Kong, right? It happens all over the world now. So a subscriber of mine in the Netherlands told me that they now have a per person limit on buying milk powder when you go into a store in the Netherlands.
Right.
You know why?
In their own country.
Yes, because the Chinese tourists and also, you know, Chinese students that live there have been going into the shops, and one person will like buy everything on the shelf.
Really?
Take all of it.
Wow.
Buy it all, and then, you know, they sell it. They sell it here for a profit.
Right.
In mainland China for a profit. And so what's happening is they take everything, and there's no milk powder left for the local population.
Right.
And that's actually the point of this video. We're talking about the sort of every man for himself attitude that's going on in China at the moment.
Right.
So maybe you can wax lyrical a little bit.
Every man for himself or every woman for himself has been a prevailing kind of theme to Chinese society for a very long time. I do think it goes very far back in Chinese culture and history, in the way that things have never really been reliable. So this whole kind of look out for yourself and your family attitude has always kind of carried society forward here. And that's why you get things like the lack of a Good Samaritan law.
Yeah.
That's why you get things like this milk powder thing. That's why you get fisheries that are completely driving the extinction of some fish species and things like this, because there are so many people in mainland China that you have to have that attitude if you're going to fit supply and demand in a free market, right? So that's how it works. It also has a darker side, and that is, you know, it comes down to things like preferential treatment at hospitals if you've got money.
Sure.
It also turns into an entire culture of scams. And you're looking at a country of more than 1 billion people that are kind of affected by a scam. Maybe not a traditional scam like a tea house scam or something like that, but scams just throughout the culture in general.
Yeah.
Like, can I buy something that's not fake online?
Yeah.
Is this going to make my kids sick? Can I trust this seller on Taobao to give me a USB that's not completely hollow or full of sand?
Sure.
Right. This place is awful, by the way.
Yeah, this is Shanghai.
But yeah, I see these shops that you're talking about with all these cosmetics.
If you'll
These
see,
will
there
be
are lots
brought
of
back.
wheelie bags. Like, if you look outside of any shop, you'll see a big wheelie bag because there's someone in there with an empty wheelie bag busy
Sure.
filling it up, and they'll fill up like as much as they can carry,
Right.
and they'll fill it up to the legal limit and sometimes over, and then take it over to mainland. I mean, and that they can sell it at such a profit because number one, you can't buy these goods
Right.
over there,
Right.
most of them. And number two, if you can, they'll have a massive sales tax, and Hong Kong has no sales tax. So
You have to be able to smuggle it though, right? Like
Yeah.
you said, like if you don't, you're going to be paying a shit ton
yeah, exactly.
in whatever. But they're very strict about that. But yeah, this is funny, dude. It's really, literally. Oh, interesting. Rainbow Elderly Home. I heard that in Shanghai, because the nursing home situation is so bad in mainland China, if you have a little bit of money, you'll drop your parents off here because they'll have like a better health care and stuff like that.
Really.
So it's kind of like a refuge for lots of mainland old people. So yeah, even the culture of excess, every man for himself, drop your parents off in Shanghai because there's better health care here.
The problem is that you have to recognize it because in a lot of other cultures, you know, it's especially where I'm from, where you're from,
Yeah.
we're taught to share. Right?
Sure, of course.
And we're taught from a young age that it's not good to take everything on the plate.
Right.
But unfortunately, there isn't that sort of social barrier in China.
Right. It's not embarrassing
I mean,
to take.
The more upper class people, yes,
Of course.
they're different, but in general, you've got a massive population here.
Right.
People just don't know when enough is enough. And
Right.
that's why they will literally eat an endangered species into extinction,
Yeah.
right? Or they will take every last tin of milk powder off the shelf when they know that there are other people who rely on that in
Right.
the community.
Right.
And so it's something that you kind of have to know. So if you're dealing with Chinese people, you know, business-wise, or, you know, if you're a shop or whatever, you have to realize that this is a thing that's going to happen.
In almost every business relationship I've ever seen
Let's go that way. Looks interesting.
with foreigners dealing with Chinese people, right? Or a partnership, right? I've never once, and I hate to be the dick to say this, I've never once seen a successful one work out. Because in the end, and we just had a friend that lost massively.
6 million,
Yeah.
6 million RMB.
6 million RMB, gone. In the end, no matter how much you can trust someone, the Chinese pull of this grab, let's get all the money we can, will end up to be for their benefit, not
Yeah.
for the benefit of everyone around them.
That's correct. So, you know, when you're doing some kind of business with a Chinese partner, and it's happened to me as well, if they see the opportunity to basically take all of your clients away from you,
Right.
take your business away from you, but then lose you as a partner and lose any future business,
Right.
they'll do it.
No
because
hard feelings, they
it's
just go
like
for it.
Grab, you know.
Right.
It's this every man for himself. And this also leads to, you know, the broken vase scam, which we've
Sure.
actually spoken about.
Sure,
You know, where people will literally try to get hit by your car.
right.
You know, pretend to get hit by your bicycle
Right.
just so that they can sue you. Let's
I've heard some conversations as we walk by the way. Yeah, see, look
Yeah.
at all the like really cheap kind of shitty shoes and all this kind of
yeah,
stuff.
I mean, this is literally a smuggler's. It's like
like
a den of
Mos
smugglers.
Eisley.
Yeah, it is.
I just keep hearing the side conversations, all in Mandarin, by the way, and everyone's just saying like, "Oh, this should only be 15,000. What if we lose 1,000 across the border?" I keep hearing people talking about smuggling.
Yeah.
Look
Well,
at this.
I'll tell you what, it's kind of contentious because the local people in Hong Kong, they both rely on this kind of smuggling thing for business, the business
Right.
owners.
Of course.
But at the same time, just the average man
Sorry.
absolutely hates it because
Right.
it's just, you know, number one, all the milk powder and various other commodities all get sold out and there's nothing left for the locals.
Right.
And number two, it's a nuisance. Like, you can't walk around without tripping over bags and
I
smugglers.
keep running into shit. It's my
Yeah.
fault 'cause I'm filming, but it's pretty
Yeah.
annoying.
It is. So the point of this episode is not just to criticize, it's to let everybody know that there is no social barrier.
No.
And so if you put out a plate of sweets on your table, you know, and a group of Chinese tourists walk past, they're probably all going to go away.
The reputation is earned.
So what you want to do is only put a few sweets on that plate. Don't put them all there.
And hopefully you understand this is an analogy for maybe a bigger piece of advice, which is if you are in any kind of business relationship or situation with someone in mainland China, or in any situation in mainland China, just understand that you should never let your guard down.
And don't ever open an all-you-can-eat buffet if you've got Chinese tourists coming through.
Or do it and just watch your place burn down.
Totally. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It is a bad part of Chinese culture. I'm going to say it's bad because it is bad. And of course, it's not everybody, but it's a huge amount. So, just,
we're really
be careful.
We're in a very strange place. I would never see that downtown.
No.
Wow. Anyway.
Yeah, cool. So anything you'd like to tell our subscribers before we sign off?
Whether or not you are in Hong Kong and you want to have an adventure, I would say don't come to this stop. Number one, there's absolutely no reason to be here unless
you want to smuggle.
Unless you want to be a smuggler and kind of study the ways of the smugglers.
These shops, by the way, you'll see them lined up. They've got like bulk coffee tins, bulk Ferrero Rocher chocolates. I don't know why they like.
They love that. It's like currency in China.
Yeah. And all that kind of stuff. And you can, if you're a foreigner, it's kind of helpful because you can come buy really cheap sort of Western commodities to take over.
True.
Just don't take bags full, like, wheelie bags.
Right. Or whether you don't find yourself here. Nice little insert.
Yep.
I implore you to like the video if you did and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about this. Do you think this is a detriment to Chinese culture, or does it kind of drive it forward with competition? Let us know down below.
And whether or not you are that cheeky bugger who goes and empties the shelves of milk powder, or if you're a very nice person who leaves at least one tin behind for that mother whose starving infant is about to die, we love you all the same.
Yeah.
So until next time, guys, you know the drill. Stay awesome.
When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind